Hi, good afternoon, my dear students. So this is actually a doubt clearance session related with a question from grade 12 CBSE. It's a question from inverse trigonometry. Though it looks like simple, it's not simple. So we have to use some mixed concepts. Okay, let's see how to do this question. So in this question, consider the system of equation cos inverse x plus sine inverse of y whole square. It is given that it is equal to p pi square divided by 4. And another equation is given cos inverse of x times sine inverse of y whole square is equal to pi raised to 4 by 16. Also, we have to respect or we have to consider the additional information given about p. So what is p? P is an integer. Z means an integer. The value of p for which the system has a solution is. So they are asking to find the value of p as a solution. Before going to this question, we know that it consists of cos inverse of x and sine inverse of y. So what about the principal value branch of cos inverse of x? Because we have to report according to that. The principal value branch of cos inverse of x will be in between because it is a cos inverse function. That is 0 to pi is the principal value branch. That what about sine inverse of y? What about sine inverse of y? The sine inverse of y, the principal value branch is in between minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2. So these are the two things we have to remember before proceeding this question. So here, this is cos inverse of x times sine inverse of y whole square. Especially for this kind of questions, it is advisable to give a substitution to avoid the confusion. Okay, so what I'm trying to do is I'm just making cos inverse of x, I'm just substituting it as m. Okay, then sine inverse of y, I'm substituting it as n. So what happens to the first equation? The first equation was cos inverse of x plus sine inverse of y whole square is equal to what? P pi square over 4. So cos inverse of x, we can keep it as m. Sine inverse of, we can write it as n square because it is sine inverse of y whole square. And that is equal to what? P pi square over 4. And what about the second equation? Second equation was cos inverse of x multiplied by sine inverse of y whole square is equal to what? Pi raised to 4 by 16. Pi raised to 4 by 16. So that eventually becomes mn square is equal to pi raised to 4 by 16. So this is my equation number 1 and this is my equation number 2. So I have two simultaneous equations. So based on this, we have to find the value of p, the value that satisfies both of these two equations. Okay, let's see. Anyway, we have already mentioned about the principal value branch or the range of cos inverse of x and the sine inverse of y. Then tell me what will be the range of cos inverse of x plus sine inverse of y, because my aim is to find what is the range of equation 1. That means what is the range of m plus n square. That is my first procedure or first step. I just want to find the range of m plus n square. The range of m, that means that is cos inverse of x, that is in between 0 and pi. And what about the range of n? That is minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2. But if I'm squaring n, what happens? What happens to the range? Minus pi by 2. If I'm squaring, what happens? It becomes pi square by 4. If I'm squaring pi square by 2, eventually we are getting pi square by 4. So whatever be the value in between minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2, if I'm squaring, that value always lies in between 0 to pi square over 4. And what will be the range? We have to add the the lower boundaries together. 0 plus 0 is 0. Pi plus, that is a maximum value. Pi plus pi square over 4. And we know that this m plus n square value is what? P pi square over 4. Definitely, the value of m plus n square lies in between 0 to the value of p, because the m square plus m plus n square value, it is given that it is p pi square by 4. And we know the maximum value and minimum value of m plus n square, right? Therefore, this p pi square by 4 definitely is lies in between pi plus pi square over 4. Pi plus pi square over 4. Okay, so pi plus pi square over 4. Now, is it possible to divide both sides? Because I just want to simplify, I just want to find the value of p. So I just want to simplify this inequality by dividing all these terms with the pi square over 4. That will not change the equation. So 0 by pi square by 4 means it is actually 0. Pi square by 4 and pi square by 4 got cancelled. It becomes p. This becomes what? Pi by pi square by 4 plus pi square by 4 by pi square by 4. So that eventually becomes the value of p is in between 0 and 4 over pi plus 1. Because pi square by 4 cancel, it becomes 1. This 1 pi got cancelled and this 4 will be coming to the numerator. It becomes 4 by pi plus 1. So this is the idea about the value of p. So the value of p is in between 0 and 4 by pi plus 1. 0 and 4 by pi plus 1. Now, what is 4 by pi? 4 by pi means around, pi is 3.14. So 4 divided by 3.14 means it is something like 1 point something. 1 point something plus 1 means this is what? 2 point something. So that means the value of p always lies in between 0 and 2 point something. Also in our question, it is given that p has to be an integer. So what are the integer values in between 0 and 2? 0 is an integer, 1 is an integer, 2 is also integer, because 2 is actually less than 2 point something. The value of p can be any value in between any value like 0, 1 or 2. Okay, so any value of 0, 1 or 2 can take, right? But we can't conclude based on this statement. We don't know what is the exact value of p. It may be 0, it may be 1, or it may be 2. So for getting a clear picture about this p, we'll take the second equation. So what is the second equation? Mn square is equal to what? Pi raised to 4 by pi raised to 4 by 16. Mn square is equal to pi raised to 4 by 16. That is our second equation. What was our first equation? M plus n square is equal to p pi square divided by 4. P first equation was p pi square over 4. So if you are making n square as subject, because I am going for solving simultaneous equation, n square as subject, what happens? P pi square over 4 minus m is the value of n square. So we are substituting instead of n square this value. What happens? M times p pi square over 4 minus m is equal to pi raised to 4 by 16. If I'm expanding the bracket, it becomes mp pi square over 4 minus m square is equal to pi square over 16. So I'm inviting these two terms to the other side. It becomes m square minus mp pi square by 4 plus pi raised to 4 by 16 is equal to 0. So this becomes a quadratic equation in terms of m. Okay. Now, what is next? See, we have to read each and every part of this question. We need to find the value of P for which the system has what? A solution. That means the quadratic equation should give a solution. We know about quadratic equation. The quadratic equation may give solution or may not give solution. So the quadratic equation will give a solution when its discriminant is greater than or equal to 0. So what is discriminant? Discriminant is b square minus 4ac. So what is the b value in this quadratic equation? That is minus p pi square over 4. What is the value of a? A is coefficient of m square, that is 1. What is the value of c? That is pi raised to 4 by 16. Pi raised to 4 by 16. Correct. So go for the solution part. That means discriminant should be greater than 0. That is our discriminant. That is minus p pi square by 4 whole square minus 4 times 1 times pi raised to 4 by 16 should be greater than or equal to 0. So it eventually becomes p square pi raised to 4 by 16 minus 4 times pi raised to 4 by 16 should be greater than or equal to 0. So simplify this. We can divide both sides with a pi raised to 4 by 16. So what happens? This got cancelled. Anyway, 0 divided by pi raised to 4 by 16 is 0. So it eventually becomes p square minus 4 greater than or equal to 0, or p square greater than or equal to 4. So that means that we now simplified to a quadratic inequality. So p should be what? Or p square should be greater than or equal to 4. So how to solve this quadratic inequality? The product of the two p's, p multiplied by p, should be greater than or equal to 4. So we can say that a value less than or equal to minus 2, or p greater than or equal to 2. Greater than or equal to 2. Why? Minus 2 or any value less than minus 2, the square of that value that will be greater than 4 or equal to 4. Any value of p greater than or equal to 2, the square is again greater than or equal to 4. So we got the solution of this quadratic inequality as p less than or equal to minus 2, or p greater than or equal to 2. From the first equation, or based on the range, we concluded that p can take only what? Any value in between, any value like 0, 1, or 2. So the answer or the value of p that satisfies two of these conditions is what? Only 2. Anyway, p less than minus 2, or less than or equal to minus 2. That will not satisfy this. P greater than or equal to 2 means p can take 2 or any other value of 2. Anyway, 2 is common, right? So that means the value of p that satisfies all these requirements is what? P is equal to 2. So the answer for this question, which option? Option C. Option C is the right answer. Option C. That means P is equal to 2. That's all for this question. Thank you.